Father's Day this year, in celebrating fathers between the ages of 25 and 45 or more. Just simply share photos of you having those amazing moments with your children with us via WhatsApp. It's 055-1111-997. And tell us how important it is and how gratifying it is to be in the hands, in your children's lives as well. And of course, give us a message which really is your specific Real Daddy code. And of course, we've got some amazing gifts to share with you during the period as well. So make sure you're part of the Joy99.7 FM Real Daddy Code, celebrating fathers this year, 2022. Well, I had the unfortunate experience of losing my father some 19 years ago on June 9th, just a few days ago. And today happens to be the birthday of two of my siblings, William and Nancy Atto, all the way down under in Australia. And of course, today also happens to be the birthday of Mrs. Abigail Macaulay. Happy birthday to you. She's a chaperone of the national junior tennis team. I'll be telling you a lot more about that later on. And of course, there's some good news to share with you from the field of athletics as Ghana also builds up to, the next Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. You do know that Ghana is looking forward to a decent medal haul in Birmingham. But of course, the preparation is the most important thing here. So we'll be letting you in on some new personal records, personal best times that have been set by some of our athletes getting ready for this very big endeavor. Let's now get down to the business of the tracks. Here with me in studio, Kwabena Poku, coordinator of F1 Ghana, and a fan. Coach Adamesa making an appearance in the studio for the first time in 25 years?
No.
And the question we want to ask is, how old is the station today with you?
No. Even during COVID, I've sat in this very chair, during
Charlie,
COVID.
You have to sign an autograph there.
To be honest, I don't think I've been here since 2020 though.
Wow,
Yeah. I think so. I stand corrected. Right?
Yeah.
I did something with George Aldo Jr. here. I can't remember what year.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, sure.
I remember.
Yeah.
The football season.
Yeah, exactly. So, Charlie, don't write me off like that. Charlie, no. I know this year, this is my first time this year. I agree. But I dedicated today to multimedia. This morning I was on Love FM.
Yeah, man.
With
Charlie,
Zando and Co.
Yeah, man.
So,
Charlie, we appreciate that a great deal.
I'm with you.
Charlie, you are the man.
So
You're the man.
my day is dedicated to multimedia.
99.7 gunshot salute, man.
Yeah, man.
Good to have you in the studio. Kojo Adaimensa, by the day, is the CEO of Data Bank, but more importantly, he has something that is tied to his umbilical cord. His football, he doesn't joke with. His Liverpool business, he doesn't joke with.
All.
And his Formula One business, he doesn't joke with either. I always love to start with the design or the engineering of the tracks. So Azerbaijan, I can describe as a what do you call it again? What's the name of this this hardware? What do you call it? Used to tighten the bolts and the nuts.
Oh, spanner. Oh.
Well, a spanner. It looks like like more or less.
Yeah,
but what
yeah,
yeah,
The
more or
design
less
of
like
the
a
track.
spanner. Yeah.
It has a 90-degree curve.
Yeah.
Yes.
After the straight,
The street.
there's a 90-degree.
90-degree curve.
Yeah.
There's actually 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, you calculated and it's a 90-degree curve. You're right. Look, gentlemen, let's begin with the kind of excitement that the Baku circuit is going to bring us because of the design of the circuit. I always like to start from there.
For me, okay, so let's just say for me, Baku is the most exciting and the best city circuit.
Okay.
on the
Why?
grid.
Why would you say that?
I mean, the design of the circuit, as Kojo was saying, a 90-degree curve, 2
Yeah.
of them, and it makes it exciting. Last year, if you watch carefully, Lewis played a trick which didn't work for him. He had to actually run straight into the the wall,
Sure.
turn around and lost his position and all that. So it's a very tricky circuit. So drivers are always using their I think they go with their guts, if I should put it that way.
Yeah.
Engineering plays a major role, but they literally go with their guts. And Baku gives another exciting race compared to Monaco. Even though people don't like, or most of us don't like the Monaco track because of the way it's narrow and all that. Baku will give us more exciting race, a straight, more long,
Fast
straights
straights,
and
yeah,
fast straights
yeah.
and all that. The only thing is that a lot of them are having issues with purposing this weekend, through their practice and the sessions and all that. But expect Baku to give you an exciting race. Basically.
I see. Practice 3 is ongoing.
No. Is it practice 3? We are
Practice
preparing for qualifier.
Qualifiers,
Okay,
yeah.
Very
sure.
soon.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Look, looking at what has happened in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. What's the expectation for this weekend? Let's begin with you, Kojo.
I think the current season status quo will remain. It's going to be a Ferrari, Red Bull slug out. I mean, unfortunately, those of us, the Mercedes guys, this season, we are feeling what maybe Ferrari has been feeling for the last 10 years, and it's not a good feeling at all. Yeah,
At all.
seriously.
True.
I mean, yeah, true. It's not a good feeling at
At
all.
all.
And Kwabena used to organize these viewing parties big time. We used to go and we would troll the Ferrari guys like nobody's business. And thankfully, COVID helped us. So just as we're going down, COVID has come and the viewing parties are not as packed. But we are still, I mean, it's still being organized.
Yeah.
And now the Ferrari guys, I mean, Maya and Co, they
Maya, JC and Co.
they are really giving it to us. But
Oh.
I think it will be the same. I am from the free practice Thursday, Friday. It's still looking Red Bull, Ferrari. For some reason, I was telling my Mercedes friends that I don't think we'll get it right this season. I don't know why. The whole thinking was after 4 races or so, we would be able to tweak the engine, figure it out, and start competing again. And even Russell is ahead of Hamilton. Can you imagine? So is it really a car issue? Is it really that the last season issue on the last race, that whole drama that happened, has affected Hamilton so badly that he's unable to bring himself to just
What do you think, Kojo? What really do you think is the thing with Lewis psychologically? Because you see, it hasn't.
I think that last race really hurt him, and the media haven't helped. And probably what most sportsmen or sports persons do is they block themselves off social media. I don't think Hamilton did that, so he's probably read all those comments and all those conspiracy theories about Mercedes even internally don't want Hamilton to beat Schumacher's record, and of the number of the championship races, etc. And probably he's asking himself, are my team really backbiting me? Are they really behind me?
And is all of this worth it?
And do I need to shouldn't I have retired? He didn't retire, but he's going again. And if it was the car alone, I think Hamilton should have been ahead of Russell.
Okay.
But there's some psychology playing.
I remember back in 2006 when I interviewed Serena Williams, and I asked her about following happenings in the media. And she said, look, I don't follow chronicling in the media.
They don't.
Because, you know, I mean, if this kind of reaction is what we're getting from Lewis after this major, you know, episode in Formula One, and of course it caught a lot of attention globally, and it sparked a lot of conversations as well, you know, what is, away from competition, Kwabena, what else would we really be losing if Lewis is not coming to the party the way we expect him to?
Oh, Formula One will lose a lot. Formula One, FIA and Formula One stand to lose a lot if Lewis is to back out of Formula One in his prime right now. Look, if Lewis, the amount of fans that Lewis has been able to be, I mean, when I say fans, I mean Formula One used to be a niche sport. It used to be a sport for, in quotes, elites and all that. But now you have, it's become more of a mainstream.
And it has a bigger spread.
It has a bigger spread now. I mean, look at the teammate. I mean, the drivers on Formula One. If you're saying somebody's coming from maybe middle class or lower middle class, it's Lewis. The rest are all coming from big families, big homes, big names, and things like that. Look at Lance Stroll. His father literally owns Aston Martin. You know, I mean, most of them are coming from big backgrounds. So Lewis is the only one who actually recognizes the fact where he's coming from, and people see themselves like him. Like we all came from down there, and we all getting up there. Same thing. Look at Tiger Woods. He made golf more of a mainstream sport now. People are actually. I never used to like golf, but when I see Tiger play, I'm like, oh, okay, he looks like me. People literally went into tennis because of the Williams sisters. He made it a mainstream sport. So Lewis has held F1 and FIA to date. They can't afford to lose him now. They will lose him when he decides to retire. You understand? If they push him out, it's not going to end well for them. Because the thing is, a lot of people still watch F1 because of Lewis, even though he's not performing well. When you come to our F1 viewing parties, trust me, a lot of the supporters, majority are Mercedes fans. Before you come to even Ferrari, the Red Bulls, McLarens. I saw somebody came through recently and a person supports I think it was Haas or one of those other teams. As soon as he mentioned his team, the people were like,
isn't this amazing?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's the way it is. They can't afford to lose him now. And moreover, look, when they talk about diversity, he's the only black driver in there. Right now. You understand? And if Formula One is to bring F1 to South Africa, as they are trying to push, or he's even pushing for, I will go to Johannesburg to watch Lewis Hamilton, not to watch F1. Even though to watch F1, but then most people will travel to Johannesburg because they see a black man racing.
Sure.
Yeah, backward now. I think Lewis will retire
next season. Next season I doubt. I think he will drive another good car before he retires.
Is that going to be another good Mercedes or another good car?
Another good Mercedes
all right.
before he retires.
Okay, so talk about that and the expectations. What is it going to look like for you? Let's begin with you.
Look, so this morning I was watching some of the on track, the pit wall interviews and things like that, and one gentleman said that, look, Baku is a very tricky track, right? Baku can give surprises, and we know it can give red flags left, right, everywhere. It's a good weather for the race day, everything is perfect, but the track is a very tricky track, right? So he is actually not going to vouch for the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. He actually picked the Mercedes to take the day, because what he was saying, his explanation was that Red Bull and Mercedes and Ferrari will come in very aggressive, and anything can happen, right? But then I'm actually going to go for one of the Red Bulls, one of the Ferraris, one of the Mercedes, and probably also look at Bottas carefully, because he loves that track.
On podium. I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. I mean, every week or every other week, whatever it is, or every race day, I get back to the screens hoping that this is the weekend that things are going to turn around. This is the weekend that things are. But even free practice is showing that, Charlie, Mercedes is way behind, and it's still going to be a straight fight between Red Bull and the margins are so tiny.
Yeah.
The margins are tiny. I mean,
microseconds.
from here, I'll be going to monitor the qualifiers, and I don't think anything is going to change. Maybe the second half of the season. Now that's what we the Mercedes hopefuls are saying, that maybe second half of the season, after they've had the summer break, there'll be a summer break.
Yeah, a few
Then
weeks.
a few weeks.
Yeah.
Then before they hit the Americas, and then they will come back into Asia, and maybe by that time, Toto Wolff and Co would have figured.
But mind you, listening to Red Bull guys between this weekend, they are still sure Mercedes is going to change the dynamics. They are not even afraid of the Ferraris. They are much, because they said Mercedes has been on and off for the last 3 races. Sometimes they get a very fast lap.
Yeah, they do.
But they are not consistent with that fast lap.
True, that's true.
So as soon as they fine tune the cars to be that consistent with those fast laps, they should be scared. Because look, they know they can win the championship. As to the driver winning the championship, they don't know, but they know they can win it. They are stretching Mercedes by far in terms of the Constructors' Championship.
By way far.
But they still think Mercedes can still change the dynamics if they are not watched carefully. And so they are watching them. They are not even watching Ferrari and the like. They are watching Mercedes carefully.
Well, okay, so everybody's looking forward to the race tomorrow at Labadi Beach Hotel.
No. Tomorrow we're going to Starbites.
Hey, Starbites.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Starbites.
We're moving to Starbites.
Those are the 2 main venues
Yeah.
now.
Very well. So it's happening at Starbites tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay. Details again?
Yeah, so tomorrow it's a morning race. The lights out. Over here it's 11 a.m. in the morning. So Starbites is open for morning. They're serving their breakfast, lunch, and all that. So we'll be there at Starbites. Just come and enjoy the race.
Great.
Baku is a very beautiful city. It's a very beautiful race.
So I go for communion at Rich Church. I drive straight to, and that's the end of the story. Okay, so a lot of fun, a lot of excitement as usual, and let's just see if this weekend could bring a Mercedes surprise, as it has come to be. We shall see how it goes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Kojo Adai-Mensah will stay for the main conversation here, on the show. So you're still here on Joy 99.7 FM. In a bit, we'll discuss some boxing before going to the main conversation of the day, which is the Black Stars. We'll be doing some boxing now. You're still here on the Joy Sports Link. A message, and after that, the action continues right here on the Joy Sports Link.
This is an other party fans. They are go pay tomorrow fans. The money no be problem fans. They will go score you fans. The sports fans. Bet of Africa is an online sports betting experience that gives you the chance to turn your game and player predictions to wins. All you have to do is register an account with Bet of Africa. With Bet of Africa, there's more to every game, because when their teams win, they win. Download the app now and stand the chance to win with your team. Choose Bet of Africa. Terms and conditions apply. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Not for persons below 18 years. Gaming can be addictive.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us here on the show. And just before we get down to that very big conversation on the Black Stars, I'll bring you another big conversation. Remember, today is a mixed bag of so many different things. So this man, is from somewhere on the big map of Ghana, and he has been making big strides since he became a professional boxer. Before that, he had made major attempts to get an opportunity to fight for Ghana via the national amateur boxing team, the Black Bombers. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the opportunity, and he decided to look at the other side of things, which is the other home, which makes him, or makes up his big picture. He managed to win a bronze medal in Brazil when the Olympic Games was hosted in Rio. Since then, he's told a very remarkable story of progression and telling a great story to the world, boxing-wise, and also announcing himself and telling everybody that I'm the man and you need to look, out for me. Great thing too is that he is within the camp of legendary promoter Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Promotions, who clearly is a big name and one of arguably the heaviest weights when it comes to boxing promotions around the world. He's also managed by our good old Anthony Joshua as well. Joshua Boakye is my guest for the next couple of minutes right here. Joshua, good to see you, man. Everything okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. And the interesting thing is that Joshua gets to smile today. Whenever he's in the ring, he hardly shows any emotion. How does that happen, Joshua?
I think, like everyone, if you're in an awkward situation or someone is saying, I'm coming to take your head off or to beat you up, there's not time to smile, So I have like a serious face on, but in boxing we call it a poker face. You don't know how I'm feeling. Sometimes people talk or they show too much emotion, but for me in boxing, have a neutral face. People don't know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, but when it's time to fight, you fight.
Yeah, and you did fight the other day. Congratulations on that win as well.
Thank you.
How much of a test was it for you in preparing you for this stage? Because at this stage, the whole world is saying, look, Joshua Boakye is the next guy to fight for the WBA light heavyweight title.
Yeah, it was a very hard fight, and credit to the opponent. I thought he was tough, but it's what we do boxing-wise and everything is in us. People that fight from Ghana, all around the world. But for me, when I fight, there's a sense of pride that I have. I know that I represent Ghana. Of course, my shorts, I have the Amankwa symbols on it. I have the Ghanaian flag on it. So that pride is always on the line whenever I fight. But again,
you chose 3 of those Amankwa symbols, right?
I had 4.
You had 4 of them,
I had
and
4 on them.
I see.
Yeah, and should I try and list it to see if I remember or not? The first one that I had is the Jinyami. Everyone knows what that means except God. I had a recent one that I actually learnt, and it was called Nyaminti. That one for me is the most important one. The grace of God and because of God. And I had the horn, the war horn, and then the war swords. So those 4 were quite important to me. And of course the Ghanaian flag. I had the kente pattern on my shorts. So I'm fully representing as much as I can, and when I put on my robe or my trunks to fight, there's a sense of pride that I have when I have that on. So when it's time to fight, I say I'm fighting for a whole nation.
When you read Azuma Nelson, he talks about moments in the ring which he obviously would give to God in terms of the credit. And there's a very big God factor in everything that is done. There's also a lot of issues of spirituality and metaphysical stuff in the ring that sometimes you boxers face. Tell me how crucial it is. Clearly from the list of Amankwa symbols that you use, the God factor is big for you.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. I mean, in my from when we enter my changing room, there are a few members of my team where all they have to do is pray.
I see.
The aim of being there is to pray. It's
see.
not to speak to person A or person B or to start laughing. It's just to pray. So the moment I step into the changing room, there's prayer from the beginning till the end, till I leave. Also on top of that, there's only gospel music.
I see.
There's no rap, there's no this, there's no that, just gospel music and prayers. And for me, that calms me down, and I'm at peace. And
when you're being padded and everything,
yeah,
you just
when they're
calm
wrapping
down.
my hands, when the gloves are being put on, when I put on my trunks and I'm hitting the pads and I'm warming up. So that creates an atmosphere where I feel God's with me, that and I'm being read the word of God, and it comes to life. I believe solely what's written in it. There's no doubt at that point. So that atmosphere is created from the beginning to the end. When I go inside the ring, when I win the fight, it's only via God, and that's why we say Jinyami and Nyaminti. So very, very grateful.
Well, Jinyami indeed. If you just joined us, we're just having this conversation here with the man Joshua Boakye, who is the #1 contender currently in the light heavyweight rankings of the WBA, where he's looking forward to having a crack at the main world title. Of course, before that, he's had a very impressive run of victories, which sure have prepared him well for this. Added to that as well, he decided to take a decision during his career to go to the United States of America, especially when it gets to the preparatory phase of every battle that he goes into the ring. Tell me about, you know, that bit of arrangements towards every other fight, and how much it has helped you, you know, moving training camps to the US like you always do.
Yeah, it was a massive decision because I've lived in London for years. I've got my friends, my family. It's a comfort zone being in London. So when it came to a point in my career where I said I need to keep improving, there's no time to stall or to remain at one level. I have to keep improving. And when I looked at all the coaches, the one that best fitted, that I thought would bring the improvements that I need, he happens to be based in America. America is good, it's nice, but if he were based in Brazil, I'd go all the way to Brazil, but he's in America. And it's really outside my comfort zone. You know, in the States, I stay in the States for about 3 to 4 months. For this fight, I did 5 months. So it was very hard to be away from home for that long. And then I came back 2 weeks just before the fight. And mentally, it was hard. Physically, it's hard. You know, we're all tired and we get along with it. But mentally, it was challenging. And when I came back for 2 weeks before the fight, it was the hardest thing was actually still concentrating and being locked in. And then after the fight, you can chill out. You can see your family, you can see your friends, you can eat. So it takes a lot. But I think the message is everyone makes these sacrifices. I'm sure the things you did to be in this position. For those that are watching, I'm sure there's some struggles and some sacrifices that you had to make to be in this position or in the position that you're in. So it's something that's part of it. You know, I don't separate myself just because I had to do, you know, be away from my house or my comfort zone. I think everyone does it, and I'm at the point in my life where I have no responsibilities. Like I'll be away for a whole year if I need to be to get to the top. You know, so
but you need to be clear. No responsibilities meaning what? No girlfriend, no.
As in, most importantly, I've got no children. So my kid, I haven't got a kid that's gonna call me. And
you didn't answer my first question, Josh.
Listen, it's true. I didn't answer the first question.
Okay,
but again,
all right.
I've got no kid.
Okay. But you still haven't answered it. Anyway,
I've got a girlfriend. If you want to know.
Oh, great. Shouts, girlfriend. Shouts.
Big shout out to you.
All right. So away from that, let's also talk a bit about, you know, family, immediate family, and how much of an influence they have on your well-being and what you do in your eventual big picture. Tell me about the role of family. I met your mum the other day.
Yeah, family is very important. I think if you ask people, they say Josh is cool, laid back, relaxed. People say, oh, he's very calm and humble, and I think that comes from my family, my surroundings. No one around me is boastful or prideful, so I have no reason to be like that. Everyone keeps me in check, make sure that I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing or to not feel bigger than I am. So everyone's normal, everyone treats me the same. No one says anything, or there's no special treatment because of what I do. So it allows me to be very normal. I live a very normal life, normal people. I have normal friends, family, like everything's so normal that this is very normal to me. You know, of course I'm on your channel talking to a lot of people that I'll be watching, which is different, but other than that, from here I'll get in the car, I'll go and eat, like I do normal things, you know. But my family and friends, very important. There's not many of them, but the ones that are around me, they've been there from the beginning. Or if they're ones that are new, you know, I know them well enough to say, you can be around me, you've got a good character, you're this, you're that. It's positive influence.
Well, just before we wrap all of this up, I'd want you to tell me about the relationship between yourself and your promoter and your manager. Let's begin from your promoter, Eddie Hearn. I mean, he has traveled a journey as well in the sport of boxing. Currently, he controls major space when it comes to the big historic fight days that define the boxing stories of this era.
Yeah.
He had a joint interview with you when you beat your French opponent, you know, during COVID. And he spoke about your qualities and all of that. Tell me about him as well, and how much of an influence he's had on you. The kind of relationship you two enjoy, and how the working relationship has gone and brought you up to this stage.
So I think the relationship between a fighter and a promoter is, yes, the promoter gets you the fight. It gets you the most important fights to, of course, make you champion. So they've done well. They've guided me to the position where I'm waiting for that title shot. So they've done a good job. I think it's a bit of a weird relationship because to an extent you have to work together. Then it gets to a point where the fighter wants to be paid more money for the fights that they're taking. The promoter's trying to keep as much as he can, and there may be a bit of a disagreement, but sometimes you work together, sometimes you have your differences, but you always find a solution. But yeah, he's the first promoter that I was with since I've turned professional.
Great.
And yeah, I'm in this position. He's put me in the right fights. I've had the right fights, and this is it now. They will give you the fight, but most importantly, it's the fighter's job to win the fight. They can give you the opportunity, and that's what they do. But it's up to the fighter to win those fights. He can't win the fight for you.
Anthony, I've seen him in your dressing room a couple of times.
Yeah.
Getting ready, getting ready for the big deal and all of that. Tell me how much of an influence he's had on you as well, considering where he is, within the big space.
Massive influence. I think if somebody came here, Joy FM, for work experience, and they had the opportunity to ask you questions, for them that's good. That's important because you've been there, you've done it, you've got the experience. So it's just like having someone where you can ask them, bro, this is the situation, what do you think? He'll say his piece. I'll ask maybe one or two people that matter to me. They'll say their piece, and then I'll think about it in my head, and then I'll come up with what I think I'm going to do. But it's always nice to have a second opinion, third opinion, but most importantly, if it's about somebody that has walked the walk before. You don't want to ask somebody what's it like being champion when they've never been champion. So it's good to have someone where you can ask them that question, and they'll say to you, oh yeah, this is what it's like, this is what I would do, this is what I wouldn't do. They'll say that, but you need to then make the move yourself. So it's quite nice to have that.
Great stuff. Journey from here. You're leaving Ghana soon, and you're going straight to the US?
Now I'm going back to the UK. I'll start training there before I go into the US, and then we enter a different level of training.
Great stuff there.
Again, I'll be away for many months, but I always say there's a price to pay, and for me it comes from being away from my family, my friends, doing boxing. Everyone pays a price, so for me it's very normal.
The Ghanaian stories that have inspired you the most, I mean, on the whole scene, I'm sure you have come across Azuma personally, face to face, the Ikes, the Joshua Clottes and all that. Whose story,
There's so many, and I hate to have to pinpoint one, but it has to be Azuma, because before we came here, I was saying to one of my team that this guy really put Ghana on the map. You ask people, have you heard of people outside Ghana? Have you heard of Ghana? They'll say no, and they'll say, actually, there's this boxer you had called Nelson Azuma, the professor, and I'm like, that's the guy. So for someone to have that, that's something he's done. I ask a lot of people about it, and that's the first thing they always say. Oh, you had a good boxer called the Professor Nelson. So, and you know what? The friend that I was talking to about it said that they had interviewed him, and they said he's as humble as ever. And I was saying to him, that guy is a god in Ghana, with a small G, by the way. I said he's a god in Ghana. But,
I like that.
Yeah, but he's able to keep his humility, and that for me is number one. And I say it has to be him.
Great stuff there. Anyway, Joshua, you go take it easy, rest a bit, and get ready for your flight.
Sure.
But it's great to have you here. Hopefully, the next time we have a conversation like this, we'll have a very heavy gold-plated belt sitting right here.
For sure. Amen, for sure, man.
All right, a final message to everyone listening, watching, all of us, as we part company and look forward to that big day or the big night.
For sure. I've said this already on a few stations, but
this is here.
This is
and this is your home as well.
So I'm gonna start this one differently. I would say to the people that are watching, remember me in your prayers. I always say to people, it's my prayer that God sees the hustle that we're putting in, the work that we're putting in, to make sure that our sweat is not in vain, the hard work that we're doing is not in vain. And most importantly, I always say, every day above the ground is a good day. You're above the ground, it's a good day. Those that are dead, unfortunately, they're gone. So for us that are above the ground, every day above the ground is a good day for sure.
Joshua Boakye, and I always introduce him as the next boxing world champion. And I'm Octopus what? Octopus Nathaniel? Maybe. Watch this space. Josh, good to have you, and thank you so much for making the time to be with us. We're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy99.7 FM. More to come, but of course, like I said, watch out for some excerpts of this interview on our subsequent shows on television and, of course, on all of our social media handles during the week as well, as we continue tracking Joshua Boakye day in, day out, week in, week out, and look forward to that big announcement of him possibly challenging the champion, the main champion for the WBA light heavyweight title of the world. Well, we'll do some boxing now. So, football, right? Hey, this boxing matter.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. We're getting ourselves into the main conversation of the afternoon. Just gone by was a conversation with Joshua Boachi, who is the number one contender for the WBA now. He's looking forward to having a major challenge, and that is to challenge the main champion, Dimitri Bivol, for that big one. And we're looking forward to that big announcement. He's been preparing for some time now, and the show will be a great Ghanaian story. Of course, he was unable to get the opportunity to fight for Ghana at the Olympics, but made it with the UK, and it's been doing super and amazing so far. But right now, let's throw our focus on some football. Before that, we'll do a little touch of athletics as well, because we've had some spots of good news during the week. George Addo Jr., lead commentator English for the whole group, is here with us, and of course later on this afternoon we're all trooping to the Accra Stadium for another big one as the Dortmund legends play Shooting Stars FC, and some African legends for a very big game for charity as well. Kojo Adai-Mensah, once again, is CEO of Data Bank, but most importantly is a football columnist and is a seasoned pundit, and has done punditry on many tournaments from the FIFA World Cup through to the Africa Cup of Nations and many others. This afternoon, he's got thoughts to share with us, especially on the subject of the Black Stars. Yesterday, after the game against Japan in the ongoing Kirin Cup, everybody was having major conversations about whether we're not taking advantage to look at other areas of the team's rebuilding process, and what it could be. Could those be red flags? Some also think, well, you win sometimes, you lose sometimes, but this is a crucial period of preparations. So your thoughts are very welcome. It's 055-11-11-997. Gentlemen, good to have you here in the studio. Yes, and Kojo, you were just reminding me about the fact that the last time you were here, Benjamin Azamati had recorded a time of 9.97.
Exactly.
And today we're going to start it off with athletics speed. Look, George, you've got the updates there. Rosie Aboa did fantastic yesterday.
Yes, she won a high jump at the ongoing Senior Athletics Championships in Mauritius. Considering we didn't go with a lot of athletes, I think that we went to about 5 athletes. I think that the performances have not been bad at all.
Very well.
Joseph Paul Amwa ran 20.52. I hear the conditions are very difficult out there in Mauritius. Anyway, very difficult. There's not a fast track, and then again the weather conditions as well. So he ran 20.52, and he has qualified for the semi-finals, so the 200 meters. I mean, that is good. That is good. I mean, if you look at it from where it is, the other athletes who, the top athletes who were not able to come or participate in this competition was because they were either preparing to go for some diamond leagues, or they were preparing to compete in the NCAA end of season. So for instance, Deborah Aqua, who has a record right now in long jump, 6.89 meters, yesterday competed and she won silver. So she's just on the same target. She's not far away from it. She's not yet hit the 6.90 meters. We're waiting for her to do it, but she's just right in it and has qualified for the World Athletics Championships. So far, so good for what we have seen in Mauritius. It's fine. There's also good news for us. Alex Amankwa, a lot of the athletics fans yesterday, after I posted Alex Amankwa on my page, were saying, oh, where was he? After school, he went a bit into hiding, because it's very difficult, Nats, when you finish school, when you've had scholarship and your scholarship is over and you can't have the funds, and there are no funds for you to go in there. You have to go and find a way to get back in there. He will tell his own story and how he went about it, and now he's almost back on his feet there. And it was good to see him yesterday run 800 meters, 1:44.87, which is very good, and qualified him for the World Athletics Championships. So we'll see him in the USA competing in 800 meters for Ghana, which is great news. But he's been on a great run if you look at it, because in 600 meters, just a month ago, he did 1:15.48, which was very, very good as well for 600 meters. So it was an indication that he was going to be able to do the 1:4. I'm talking about 1 minute 40 seconds. Of course, you're doing 800 meters. He was able to do 1:44 in 800 meters. So it wasn't a bit of a surprise for those who have been following it closely. But for most people, because they have not heard a lot about him, there was a big surprise to see Alex Amankwa back and good enough to compete at the World Athletics Championships. So we are excited to see these things happen. Benjamin Azamati would be competing in 3 diamond leagues across Finland, Norway, and Paris in the coming week. In the Oslo Bislett Games, he will get the chance to even go head-to-head with the Olympic champion, Jacob I mean, the Italian, Marcel Jacobs. It will be very interesting to see what he can do. And it's just a good thing to know that at least our athletes are getting some time after school, just in the period when they are preparing for a big competition like the World Athletics Championships and, of course, the Commonwealth Games to come. So it's good news. It's good news. And we also saw the universities at the Ghana University Sports Association games. We saw them. We've also seen some good athletes like Bocho and the likes who are currently right now at the university or the Africa University
Kenyatta
Games,
one.
FASU, yes, inside Nairobi right now, where they are competing. So, in as much as the headliners are doing well, those in the background are also doing well. There are guys like Desmond Aye who have also been running very well all this time. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, not the best of results to report from the national basketball team. They have been complaining about conditions out there and all of that. I'm sure that when they return home, we're going to have time to go into all of those.
But they know, and I was having a discussion with the coach was saying that by their own standards, this wasn't a very good basketball team. Not because they don't have the talent, but they were not quite a unit. What we have seen, like those who went on and did back to back and back. This team was had a few wins, but definitely the weather conditions, of course, also another problem for them and all. But basically, we're not quite with our A game. I mean, for the University of Ghana, not quite our A game. So yeah, we've lost that record, but it was great to see them go out and do it.
Kojo, how much comfort does this give you, or how much hope does this give you, especially as you sit on the side of critique and putting people on their toes to make sure that we're getting things right, organization-wise, and putting these guys out there to compete.
To be honest, if you remember, and I refer to the last time I was here when Azamati had done that record, and we got Dr. Bella online. We had him the conversation. My very, 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 very good friend, and I was not prepared to give the university too much credit. I thought Azamati had done the work a lot on his own. I was giving the athlete more credit than even the setup around him. But they've proven me wrong, and I am ready to eat humble pie. To have the University of Ghana again go to Kenyatta University again and prove that, and I think there's a UDS athlete too who is doing wonders there. It gives me a lot of hope. I am very happy with what is going on at the university level, because we've all said here, we've all critiqued that secondary school athletics has messed up. Its intercore is not what it used to be anymore. We used to unearth our talents at secondary school. When we were in Form 4, Form 5, the Miles Mills, the Koras, the Tufors, we unearthed all that talent when we were in Form 4, Form 5, lower upper 6. University was even at a time when they will be tapering off, but the tables seem to be turning, and the universities are doing something right. The universities are doing what maybe the secondary schools were doing back in the day, and I'm extremely happy. I am very, very happy at what is going on. And if the thing is shifting, because of course now the students are graduating much earlier. We were finishing O-level at age 17, 18. We're entering the university at 21. Now they are entering the university at, say, 17, 18. 17, exactly. So maybe that is where the thing has shifted from JSS, SHS. It has shifted to the university. And if that is where the focus is, and if that is where the concentration is, credit to the university authorities, credit to Dr. Bella. I will sit here and give him a lot of credit, because he has proven that the University of Ghana program, of which I've been a part of, in terms of the sponsorship, the scholarship thing, our union has been a part of it, sponsoring some of those things. It means it is working, because they are consistently producing athletes. And if that's where the focus is going to be, so be it. University of Ghana, UDS, Tech, Widiba, wherever it is, but there's only one University of Ghana in the country anyway.
We're coming from University of Science and Technology as well.
Please, there is only one University of Ghana.
This is not a,
This is not a. I know. Let's move on. I know.
Because between the three of us,
please, I know there will be problem. There will be problem. But on a more serious note,
but on a very light note before the serious note, he's also the son of a former vice chancellor. The reason why he's
4 vice
drenched
chancellor
into
of where? Of where?
Oh, relax. So you see, he's drenched in the Legon culture.
Born. That's where I was born.
Lived there. He's still, you know,
primary,
still
university,
plays his
primary,
football there, everybody.
everything. Anyway, so but something is happening. Something right is happening finally in Ghana's athletics environment, in spite of all the challenges. But whatever program that is being followed at the universities, and it's not only Legon, KNUST, UDS, Winneba, Cape Coast, at least I know there are unearthing talent there. Let's focus on it. I keep saying that sports creates more employment and settles the tension in the country more than any other industry. Sports is the only place you will not see a party A or party B. Sports is where one team employs 23 people plus laundry people, food people, nutritionists, scientists, doctors, psychologists, everything. So let's concentrate on it. I'm very happy what's going on, and I hope these guys, the quartet and everybody, will get into the Diamond League, just like Azamati has gotten into.
Great stuff there.
Yeah,
he's made the point. So because the University of Ghana had this sports for academic credit we're running, so there's been concentration on sports and making it easier for sportsmen to go in there.
Yeah,
and we've had some of the lectures, the sports lectures, also moved to University of Cape Coast, and so we're having a serious spread of the guys who make things happen, and they're evenly everywhere. And UDS and University of Education, when they're coming up strongly, really doing so well. And we're happy to have the talents. For University of Ghana, the next name, Nat, you should pay attention to Botsio.
Oh,
it's another guy coming up.
Okay.
The next guy coming up. So it's a very good time to be here, and we can be very hopeful for what's going to happen at the World Athletics Championships and at the Commonwealth Games. Look, I thought that when the big boys come, Azamati's 9.90 seconds will fly away, somewhere. Azamati is still 4th in the world after everybody has had a good run. Fred Omanyala, he ran just 2 days ago with
when did Kenya start having sprinters?
They've actually started that plan, and it's like 2-3 years ago. But they felt like they cannot always be paying attention, because they're saying that people are now competing with them when it comes to steeplechase and even the long distance, because most of the Western countries are now also going through the nationalization and these nationality switches and all. So they are getting their guys. So they realize that they also have to expand whatever they are competing in. So it's a key thing, and one of the things that we have to watch out for. So he ran with Simbini, the South African, and it was a photo finish. We're all just paying 9.93 seconds, which we thought was in there. So Azamati's 9.90 seconds is still strong, and is still in the world number 4. The world number 5. That's very, very strong. Deborah is still in there, world number 3, and we can be hopeful with the kind of performance they have put on. We've said a lot about Joseph Paul, about Azamati and the likes, but the likes, the boys like Desmond Ai, they've run 10.1, they've run 10.2. I've had a good look at it. If we get another, sub 10, we are in for something really, really big. And don't forget, Mr. Lato, Azamati ran 9.86 seconds. The problem was illegal wind. Other than that, you have run the second fastest time again in the world.
Well, so we're building up to that, and of course, as we go along, we'll be doing some more in terms of focusing on what our strengths could be at the upcoming Commonwealth Games. Remember,
I should say that after we had the show, the big show we had, the Gold Chase, I think the Sports Ministry has really worked hard to make sure that the boys are comfortable for the World Athletics Championships. They put in advanced plans, and the athletes don't need to worry about what they are taking, where they'll sleep, how they'll prepare. And everything is really set.
At least we move one shade above the regular conversations, because, as I always say, this becomes frustrating to come and sit here in this same space and talk about the same things, recycle these same stories, have the same people come and give feedback, and not have anything done.
I think today,
so obviously we'd have to give the feedback. We have to give the credit, I beg your pardon, to the ministry as well for making sure that the athletes have the peace of mind to ensure that they do well and they perform. And of course, let's also remember that as we prepare for the World Athletics Championships and the Commonwealth Games, we're also getting ourselves ready in a way, or getting our frontliners ready in a way for the Africa Games, which happens next year here in Ghana. And of course, once we're hosting, we have to show, and we have to show big time. Still here.
I think that's another window.
Yeah.
And we have to see that window as an opportunity to unearth talents. We have to see the next Azamatis and the next Joseph Pauls on that stage and doing well. Yeah, the big boys will come and do their bit, but that's an opportunity for us to get all the young budding guys to come on and do a good job. So the last part, and because Kojo is here, I'll just put it here before I go. Not for us, the last part is how can we permanently bridge that gap when the athletes who are heavily sponsored by the universities finish their schooling or complete schooling. There's a gap that makes it difficult for them. One of the reasons why Alexander Amankwa got missing and is now back on his feet takes time to get proper management and all of that. So what we have seen in other African countries is they've had sponsorship, they've had a sponsor, they've had somebody take the athletes up because he's showing a lot of promise, and fund them. Like Blessing Okagbari had about $120,000 pumped in there for 3 years so she can concentrate on training and competitions. I hope that we can get to a level there. Ministry says they're working on the paper, they're having an idea, but I pray that corporate Ghana can take it and say that we take this athlete, we dedicate everything to this athlete and say we want this athlete to be the world best because he has shown us that he has what it takes. He's run sub 10 3 times, and so I take on this athlete, and then in the next 2-3 years the athlete is producing wonderful medals for Ghana. So once he's here, I know with corporate Ghana
it's a conversation that we need to continue having. Sponsorship is a function of the whole economy. It's not just a function of isolating one firm, and then it's a function of how the whole economy is performing and is working. And credit to the ministry, but I mean, corporate Ghana is under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of pressure. It's not like things are business as usual. You can dip into. I mean, even structured CSRs are dropping, and there are companies, telco companies that have huge or used to have huge advertising CSR budgets, and you can see even them. They are shrinking that kind of budget, but it's even easier to pick an individual sponsor because the baggage around an individual is less than the baggage around maybe say the whole Ghana Premier League or a whole football team or an association, with all the bad press that comes along with it. If you pick maybe one individual, it's easier, it's quicker, it's focused. So it's something that we can look at. I mean, so if our company decides that Azamati is our guy, we are taking him 2 years, support him in not everything, but and do something, we'll be gladly associated with the guy who holds Ghana's record, in athletics, so something like that. So it's worth looking at, George. It is worth looking at.
Great stuff there. And just to add to this, we do remember that just during the week we reported the story of Isaac Dugwe and how Nish Koko had come on board to support him as their, and he was unveiled as a brand ambassador. And what they want to do is to make sure that they put him out there, support him with all resources needed to get him there. That is also another structure of support and sponsorship that can be looked at as we go along. But there's a message, an extensive one coming in from a senior analyst, Osei Osubempa. And he says, high school sports collapsed with the introduction of the SSS system, which is a 3 or 4 year tenure, which gives kids virtually no time and chance to do any serious sports. Kojo and I did a 7-year secondary school from 1 to upper 6, where talented students had opportunities exploring, including having the likes of Papako Joado, Charles Samoa, Desmond Amwa, Ezekiel Alamu, etc., playing with the national first division and now the Premier League. And we seriously need to rethink our education system if we want to salvage, grow, and develop our sports. Okay. And so he gives some more.
He's spot on, because when you go to Form 1, you don't even know what talent you have. You are just running around the playground. You are being sent left, right, center. Form 2 now, you are beginning to get a feel of the school, what is where, what you can do. You go onto the sports field even only after the seniors have left. By Form 3, we are doing the juniors. So by Form 3, we are doing the juniors championship. So at least at PESCO, there was the juniors championship, which is for Form 1s to 3. Then there's the seniors championship, which is from Form 4 to upper. So by the juniors, you are picking a certain talent. There, even a Form 1 guy on the soccer field can display, and if the Form 1 guy is courageous enough, can even be sent straight into school team. So also what he's saying is spot on. It has been broken because now when you get into SSS, it's exams. But we had time. We had time to fool around. You can fool around out of Form 4 before even O-level BS. Then now you're coming to decide what it is. By then you know whether you are a high jumper, you are a 100-meter athlete, you're long jumper, and then you go even and come back into sixth form, and they know that you are the dawn. And by sixth form, because you are 17, you are. But also, let's not be too fixated on that. The thing has changed. If it means that the talent discovery is now moving from SHS to the university, so be it. As long as there's a program at the university that will unearth the talent, that will make somebody realize that, hey, I have this potential. Oh, well and good. So let's not be too fixated on switching back, whether 3-year back to 7-year. I would love that we kept the 7-year. I would have loved it, so that by the time you are going into what they call university, even you can get a sports scholarship. So some of our mates went into university abroad on the back of sports, because they would have had at least 3 years from 4, from 5, lower 6 to show that they had the talent. Then they get a scholarship and they are gone. That's what used to happen. But these days,
Well, we'll be discussing the Black Stars in a bit. I know you're all looking forward to that conversation, but also do remember that we're partnering 2 major events in the off season, and I'm talking about that very big one, the Dortmund All Stars and Shooting Stars, and that happens this afternoon at the Accra Stadium, and we're a very big part of it. We've had brought you so many big interviews. There was a major charity event at the Labadi Beach Hotel a few nights ago, and it was very, very successful. The Dortmund legends are in town, and they've been having wonderful interactions with our Ghanaian and other African legends of the football game. And so that game happens at the Accra Stadium later this afternoon, and George, we're going to be there, right?
Yes, I'm going to be there. Yes, we'll do some pitch side, we'll do some commentary, we'll do everything and make sure that everybody is happy.
And I remember when Samuel Sekufo was given the Dortmund jersey to sign. He says, I'm buying.
I am buying.
But you have to sign the Dortmund jersey.
But you have to sign. He kept on saying, I'm like, yes, you have to sign.
Also, after this weekend, we'll throw the focus on the Calcio Trade Ball. Now, the Cultural Trade Ball is happening for the first time in many years because of COVID-19 and its limitations that it gave us. And of course, this is one big event and a platform which brings, the Ghanaian and Italian football and business traditions together, creates a very enabling environment for the 2 countries to interact. Do remember that Italy is one of the biggest grounds for the development of Ghanaian talents because of the work of Arthur Legacy, which is one of the biggest football agencies that we have in the country at the moment. So Arthur Legacy, in collaboration with the multimedia group, is ensuring that this year's Cultural Trade Ball is put together, and of course it's under the theme Stop Player Exploitation. This is a major worry for not only Ghana but many other countries on the African continent. There are many stories of people who have been lured into supposed contracts outside of here in the bid to see greener pastures and have had it all wrong. And so the thought leadership platforms and the conversations that will be had as we mark this year's Cultural Trade Ball will be very crucial in informing all those within the football mix and within the football value chain so they can take major decisions. Crowning all of it will be an all-star game as well that will be played at the Accra Sports Stadium. Do remember that Ghana has loads and loads of players who have plied their trade, in Italy. Of course, Ghana's very first captain to have qualified the Black Stars to the FIFA World Cup, Stephen Apea, also has an Italian story to tell and has half of his body tied to Italian football. So the Cultural Trade Ball 2022 is coming up after this weekend, and there are many conversations to have as well. Okay, let's now get into this big conversation about the Black Stars and what happened a few, just yesterday, right? Just yesterday.
From the government of Ghana National Petroleum Corporation,
GNPC, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Unipa, Huawei Ghana, Guinness Ghana Limited, latest phone, Puma, Right Master. Every corner Ghana is the cleaner gun.
to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Come on.
Ghana Blasters, once again, we're gonna fire. Ghana Blasters, once again.
That song was by Grace Ashley, right? One of the cheer songs for the Black Stars. Well, Kojo, you got the, you. I'm sure you were in the office working yesterday around the time.
Yeah,
you
but
watched
I
the
watched
game.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was. As they say, there's not like multitasking, but I was multitasking. Yeah.
Very
But
well. Very
yeah,
well.
there was some guy who sent me a Facebook link. Which was working surprisingly. So I did watch, and
Okay.
I didn't watch the full game, like sitting down and watching only the full game. But
Key
after
highlights.
that, I went back to the key highlights and I've analyzed the game to some extent. Yes.
Okay, look, off the top of your head, I mean, considering that it was Coach Otuado's 5th game,
Yeah.
and this obviously is a very, very key milestone within the preparatory effort for the World Cup.
Yeah. So the scoreline is not a big deal for me. Ghana
It's
lost
not?
4. No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
So the scoreline is nothing for me. I mean, look, Japan could have whipped us 10-0, whatever. I mean, the scoreline for me was not what was important, and I hope I'm speaking the minds of the technical team as well, that the scoreline was not a big deal. I already, I'm sure a few Ghanaians are beginning to start saying, hey, Japan, they beat us for 1. No. I think I would have wished, let me be clear, I would have wished that Otuado had the full complement of his team. Everybody present, all the maybe potential, he called like 30 players, right? Or 25 there playing with all the substitutions he could make. I would have wished. It didn't happen. So what do I think? It was an opportunity to see what our potential bench could be. Because we didn't have a lot of our first team players. Wallacott wasn't there, Jik wasn't there, Rahman wasn't there, Gideon wasn't there, Pate wasn't there. Quite a number of our first team players were not there somewhere. But it gave us an opportunity to see, hey, if we go into the tournament and touch wood, we get some serious injury here or there. These are the guys who are going to be substitutes. And are they good enough? And I think it started showing Ghanaians that when you really need to look at the strength of this team, the whole conversation about beefing up the team from where? From the diasporan players and monkey the work, baboon the chop thing. I think we need to start rethinking it, because it showed that we don't really have depth. Maybe our first 11 solid, maybe, but we don't have depth, because Japan taught us some really good lessons. Look, and we will. I love the fact that the FA took full advantage of this opportunity. Because without all those players, another FA could have said, look, let's pull out. But they didn't pull out. And the opportunity is great, because Japan equals South Korea, Chile maybe equals Uruguay, and I don't know who our other opponents will be, but it is giving us an opportunity to get a feel of what is going to happen in November. We need to beef up the team. There is absolutely no doubt, based on yesterday's game, that we need a stronger bench, or we need to beef up the team and even have some of the current first team players pushed to the bench, rather, to make the team very strong. So that is the lesson I took from yesterday's game. The scoreline for me is irrelevant.
Let's also talk about one of the reasons why this team is playing in a tournament like that, which has a South American element, it has an Asian element as well, and it gives you a semblance of what our group is going to look like.
And we already know Portugal anyway.
Very well. Now that game against Japan, I was particularly worried about something as well. the fact that the Japanese, who aerially should not have advantages because of the way their relative physique is for each Japanese player or each Asian player, they were using
not. It's an erroneous impression we have that Asians are short. You know, it's something that I don't know where it is coming from, ingrained in our brain somewhere.
Could you let me?
Asians are not short.
Okay, let me explain this again. What I'm saying is that on the pitch on the day, I mean, on the average, we had better clearance. Okay, so that technique-wise, if there were aerial balls, at least technique-wise, our players 90% of the time should be able to reach the ball faster than their Asian opponent. But it was
okay.
Not
Let me give you a few examples. I mean, and I'm sorry to our listeners, I'll have to go to the English Premier League. You know Michael Owen's height? Do you know Diogo Jota's height?
Yeah, of course.
Diogo Jota scores more goals with his head than with his leg. Your height has nothing to do with you. You could outjump a very tall defender any day, depending on your skill and your ability.
That's why I mentioned
physique, yes,
and technique.
The Japanese have better technique. That is what it showed. We may have had better physique, but the Japanese have better technique. They know how to flight a ball and jump to meet it and hit it. Boom. They have better technique. So let's not kid ourselves that because we have better physique, we should have been able to even boss them around. They bossed the midfield.
Exactly.
They bossed the midfield. I mean, they are sharper, quicker, stronger. The fact that you are tall and big doesn't mean that you have the stamina, the physique, the skill and everything. No. And it is a lesson that we should really take seriously, because the South Koreans will be like that. Only that the South Koreans may be weaker defensively. Their whole, I've watched them a few times. Their philosophy is 11 attack. I don't know how many.
Led by Song Heung-min.
Led by Song Heung-min. 11 attack. And and yesterday we didn't even face up with Minamino. They and Minamino against Brazil was really good. I watched the Japan-Brazil game. Brazil really struggled to break down Japan. It was a struggle. So there are no mean pushovers. But the lesson is out of the game is not to say, hey, then our team is not good. No. We just have realized that we are still miles behind where we should be by November. Our bench needs some strengthening, or the team needs some strengthening, and we need to work on that. That is the lesson we take. And even, look, I wouldn't mind if we don't even win any game at this tournament, as long as the technical team take the right lessons and put in the right measures. Unfortunately, the way Europe have now designed the calendar, you know, this subtle fight between Europe and FIFA, Europe have they've crowded the whole calendar. Nations League, when we are done, it's preseason.
Exactly.
Then we go into league. After league, it's FIFA. It's World Cup time. So they are not giving you any time to even have some more training sessions, to have cohesion. None. We don't have it. So I don't envy the technical team at all. What time are they going to get to bring players together for them to know each other? It's very, very difficult. And Africa travel. In Europe, they can even all come together, do some quick session, and then go back. Come together. For us, it's a different ball game. So Otto Addo and his team have a lot of work to do. Ghana has a lot of work to do to get to any level, the appreciable level that we need to get to face the World Cup. I mean, considering the form we had 06-10, if that's anything to go by.
Now, there's also talk about the variety that we have now, the relative variety that we have now, and how it could become a problem. I mean, you've touched on it in a way already. That bit where now you're having Tariq Lamptey confirming a nationality switch, Inaki Williams and his brother, jets into town a few days ago. looking very good to do all of the needed paperwork to be available for an opportunity in the Black Stars team. It will gradually become overcrowded, don't you think?
No, I don't think. Listen, there's this claim that there are no minnows in African football again. Yesterday Cote d'Ivoire played Lesotho, or 2 days ago. Cote d'Ivoire struggled. They couldn't beat Lesotho. Cote d'Ivoire. Now we have Comoros, we have Cape Verde. We couldn't break down Central African Republic. And a lot of these countries are quietly naturalizing players. That is what is happening. That is what is actually happening. It's not like suddenly their indigenes know how to play football in any extraordinarily way. No. There's in Sao Tome, there's naturalization going on. So for me, there's nothing wrong scouting out Ghanaians in the diaspora who are good or are better. You see, the key word is, I don't want us bringing Ghanaians in the diaspora for bringing diasporans' sake. But as long as they are better, we should consider them. I don't have, and I'm going to sound slightly controversial. There are two schools of thought, and I'm sitting on the biggest platform in Ghana. I don't have a problem with the Tariq Lamptey issue. I don't have a problem with Hudson Odoi. These are guys who are going through, and we never heard that they don't want to play or not, or what. Salisu, even, I'm prepared to forgive, because I don't know the full story. Sometimes when you don't know the full story, you sit back and judge. My problem, though, is with the Inaki boys, the Williams boys.
Tell me why.
Unless what I read on my Joy Online is wrong, they came out clearly to say they do not feel Ghanaian, or they feel more Spanish than Ghanaian.
I do remember.
Was that right?
I do remember.
And even went further to say they feel Basque. Look, when somebody says I feel Basque more than even Spanish, that's the Barcelona-Real Madrid rivalry there. The Barcelona, the Basque separatist movement, it's deep. So when I read that, I said, oh, wow, these guys are really Spanish. What's the sudden change? How come suddenly you want to now come in and play for Ghana? So is it that the shirt will be Ghana but the heart will be Spain? There's another school of thought that says, hey, let's drop all that. If they are the best, let's bring them, irrespective. Of course.
Greetings to all of our friends who are listening to us on the Lovers of Football platform.
Oh, okay, cool.
Lovers of Football, very, very active and very, very,
following it.
Yeah. Following the conversations.
We thank them. We
And so I'm very sure that this is because this over the past few weeks has generated a great debate on that platform, especially. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen, especially after the next week and the new developments that we're expecting, especially around this this issue of nationality.
Of course, and if Inaki is called and he's given the nod by Otto and he scores a goal against Portugal or against Uruguay for us to qualify for the round of 16 or quarterfinal, I'll jump for joy. I will not say because I didn't support his call up and then I'll keep him. But let's be careful, because the whole monkey they chop baboon they monkey they work baboon they chop thing is that, look, I fully support bringing in extra hands, bringing in people who could be better, and look, Nat, before you sat here at Joy FM, there have been so many people who have sat here. Kautofor has sat here, NS Kranti has sat here, Jan Pofakra has sat here, Kojo Frimpong has sat here. I mean, I've been guest to all these people. Everybody who has come to succeed has made it better and made it better. No successor has come to destroy it. What I don't want is somebody coming into the team to destroy. But as long as they are going to come in to improve and make Ghana better, why not? The Williams boys one, sentimentally, and I'm just saying sentimentally and emotionally, it hurts me that you looked into the eyes of Ghanaians and said you felt more Spanish. That hurt me. I will accept Hudson Odoi, Tariq, and to some extent even Salisu any day. We should watch out. We should be careful about how we manage the Inaki and the Nico one. We should be. But that said, if there's any other Ghanaian player in diaspora out there who is better than what we have and who can improve the team, why not? And those who worked to qualify shouldn't feel peeved. They were also given a certain platform. They delivered. But if somebody can make it better, why not? Let's bring them in. So, do you want us to go because these guys qualified and they are even not good enough? Do you want us to go for Portugal to whip us 10? Or you want us to bring reinforcement for us to beat Portugal 1? Everybody will say, let's bring reinforcement to beat Portugal 1. That's what I will say. So, it's a very emotional matter. But I think we should put the emotions aside and really focus on who the best players are. It's a new phenomenon that has come. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have that many diasporans. Those diasporans were kids. My mates, a few of my seniors had just gone out there to Europe, and it's their kids. It's our kids now who are coming up and becoming ready to play either for the country their parents migrated to or for Ghana. And if they are good enough and they are better than what we have, I think that there's too much emotion and we have better goalkeepers than this person. Look, from what I saw yesterday, clearly Wallacott is Ghana's number one. I will be surprised if Otoado doesn't pick him as Ghana's number one goalkeeper. He's going to be our number one. Fact.
Richard Ofori was until he got his injury.
He got his injury, but he's doing very well at Orlando. I was panelist at the final for the Confed Cup. Confed Cup. I was a panelist, and he did extremely well. And the confidence even with which he hit his penalty, boy oh boy, I was impressed. But I think if he's fit by the World Cup, he may be number 2 to Wallacott. But unfortunately, Atizigi hasn't been lucky. I mean, he's been conceding too many goals, unfortunately. So let's just take the emotion away and take the best we have across the world at that time. Otto will have a problem with the cohesion because they will not have enough games together. That is for sure. They will not have enough games together. But I think we shouldn't take any of the diasporans straight to the World Cup. Whatever happens, we should let them play an African qualifier. We should see them in an African qualifier before we get to the World Cup.
Well, just about 15 minutes to wrap it up here, or 13. Now, there's a message here. It reads, "Good afternoon, Nat. I think it's good to see our side of weakness, and it tells us what we need to do to build a stronger team so that, would have a strong first 11. Joseph Achiman, aka Ajingo the Man." Thank you so much for that message there. Now, there's another one here. To add to Kojo's submission, 5 foot Messi outjumped 6 foot plus Ferdinand in the UCF final to score. Aguero was out jumping taller defenders to score. For people to say Asian players are short is a misconception. It's like we were young and we used to hear the Europeans say that white men are not physically strong. It's a lie. They are stronger. They are physically hard workers than most Africans. Kofi in Kaswa sends that one. Thank you very much for that message as well. 055-11-11997. Okay, now good afternoon, Nathaniel. Okay, so he wants to know what first 11 we used for the encounter against Japan. I will just get into that and bring it to you very, very shortly. It was a bit of a mixed side from what we would normally see. Now, Nat, I support Kojo, but wouldn't selection be a problem? And what will be the first, 11 at the World Cup? This is from Philip.
The best problem for any coach, just quickly is it Philip? The best problem for any coach is a selection headache. It is it's a coach's dream to have a selection problem, and so let's not kid ourselves, that we will have selection problem if we bring all those stars. The coaches will love it, and there's no coach in the world who will tell me that he doesn't like a selection problem. They love to have selection problems. Can you imagine being there and you have 3 World Cup players for every slot? What does Lovers of Football Parkour say? 2 World Cup players in every sport at Arsenal. We love that. But yeah, but seriously speaking, yes, every coach will love to have a selection problem, and I hope that by October, November, Otoado has a selection problem.
Well, there's more, especially on the, this one is on the athletics subject and how we are preparing ourselves and or maybe have not prepared ourselves well over the years. I strongly disagree with a 7 years, 3 years argument. These kids did 3 years in sports in GSS and 3 years in SS. We just don't have or have not created a well thought out systemic structure to graduate our young people to that global stage. Systems. And
now,
this is
very
from
quickly on
Prosper
that. Very quickly on the JSS structure is on the back of the primary school structure. The infrastructure in JSS is nowhere near the infrastructure as at SHS. So what we are saying is that at Form 1, the old Form 1, you would already be in what was the school, Presec, right? You already be in Presec, St. Augustine's, Pesco, Kwabotre, Motown. You already be in that setup by Form 1.
Okay.
Today's Form 1, you are still in your primary school. You are still in something LA, something DA. You haven't graduated into the secondary school system. So that's the difference. But I said, let's not hammer too much on it. If the talent will be an ed at the university, all well and good.
055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. We'll activate the phone lines now so that you can join us at this time. 0302-216-541. 0302-2161. Okay, let me go over that again. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Get through to us. Let's get talking. Also, our WhatsApp platform is very, very active. So you join us. Let's get this conversation going. Now, so very shortly, I'll be sharing with you the starting lineup for the Black Stars against Japan in that game. Okay, the starting lineup against Japan. Now, this one is from Jonas in Lashibi. He says, Nat, the aspiration will deplete our local league. Don't be surprised some local players refused to go to Japan. Okay, and, the 2 players who did not get the opportunity to play, I mean, eventually, because of another exit for some very good reasons, Dennis Kosa got the opportunity to play, and he didn't do too bad, did he?
No, he didn't do too bad, but this was just a friendly. And not this issue about the local boys can play, me, I have spoken to the last maybe 3, not Milo, but Kwesi Appiah, CK, and one of the current technical men. Look, the local boys, when they are called to the national team, and they actually are put on the bench, and they are called to warm up, to go get ready to play, they are so tensed. Look, I will even mention names. There's a player who used to play for Kotoko. He's no more there now, but he got a call up as a local player. His legs actually literally froze when the coach told him it's time, warm up. The tension on him. So you see, because at club level, back in the day, at club level, the Kotoko Hearts players, they've played at Harley, they've played Zamalek, they've played Raja, they've traveled, they've been exposed, they've played in front of 50, 60,000.
Interesting,
people.
Richmond Boachi-Adam was hammering on the same
Yes!
subject last week right here on this chair.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
listen to him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Nat.
Yeah.
People should be careful at that clamor for the local boy and
So for you, it's more like a sentimental argument,
it
isn't
is
it?
a sentimental argument.
Okay,
They are not there.
Okay, let's get on the phone line now and speak to Richard in Kede. Richard has been waiting for a while now. Richard, apologies. Good to have you on the show. Okay, unfortunately, we lost Richard. Richard, please forgive us. Let me just go through the starting lineup before we go to our next caller. Remember, it's 0302-216-541. So it was Lawrence Atizigi in post. It was Andy Yadom, Daniel Amate, Edmond Ado, Seydou Alidu, and Dennis Kosa. The only local player in that side. Mubarak Wakaso there, making a return. Christopher J, Kudus Mohammed, Dede Ayew, and Jordan Ayew. So these were the players who started that game. Richard Nkede is back, I'm told. Richard, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us again.
Good afternoon, Nat. Thank you for the opportunity. I mean, I think the issue about whether local players or foreign players is not really the matter. We are looking at players who are very good and prepared to play for the national team. But the thing about these new players who are suddenly showed interest in playing for the Black Stars is the fact that, I mean, we have players like Inaki and the brothers who we have been looking up to for all this while, have not been showing interest, and all of a sudden, I think that there's Inaki is in his 30s, and all of a sudden, knowing that he's in the twilight of his career, wants to have a World Cup badge, and because of that, wants to play for the Black Stars. The question I ask is that, will these players after the World Cup go to Khartoum in Sudan and go and play a CAF qualifier or anything? I mean, we have seen stories in the past where these players just play for the national team just for the fame of it, and after that we don't see them anymore. So it's not really about foreign players because they are of Ghanaian descent and they have the right to play, but it's about the fact that it seems they are taking us for granted. And they wait when there's an opportunity for the World Cup to be played, and they suddenly all of them are showing interest and they are switching allegiances and want to play and all that. If they want to play, they should have shown interest last year, play in the AFCON when we were struggling to qualify. Then you see that they really look. Dede and Jordan were born in France, but from day one they've shown interest in playing for the Black Stars, and they've been playing their heart out. They have been playing for like 10 years. So this is what we want from them: the commitment to play for the badge, for the national team, not people who are taking opportunity of World Cup situations and want to play and all that. If they are good enough, they should show interest from the beginning, and they should be allowed to play. They are of Ghanaian descent, and they have the right to play just like any other local player. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you very much. Let's go to Williams in West Hills. Williams, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you too.
Please go ahead.
I personally support the idea that we need to get players into the team. Not just players, but quality. You see, even with Andy Yadom, sometimes you find it very difficult to control ball. And just imagine Andy Yadom against Diego Jota, against João Felix. Ronaldo can use the match against Ghana to win the Golden Boot. Trust me. So we need to get players, and the people saying that have to get the local players into the team. If they qualify, if they merit, that's cool. But I'm a footballer myself. There are some matches that when they put you inside, you tend to hide from a pass. You can't even call for a pass. So we should just call the players who merit call-up, not just any player.
Full merit call-ups. Okay, thank you very much.
Some of the players even dodge the pass. He's right. No, he's right.
Yeah.
Some of the boys, you put them in the game and you see they are dodging the pass.
You know, Lai Kingston in his twilight years and playing days when he came to Accra Hearts of Oak told me about how he used to encourage the players every time he got a set piece close, to the goal area, that they should just move in, and he would signal them. And because of lack of confidence, they're unable to do that.
Yeah.
And so these are real stories. These are real stories.
It's a function of our local league. We need the local teams to go into Africa to get exposed. Unfortunately, now our stadia are not being filled. Look, in the days of the Safu Jemfis, Ampia, Frimpong Manso, Ama Senegal, where the back six of the Black Stars was definitely local, they will play at Accra Sports Stadium, Hearts Kotoko, Hearts Oli, Kumasi, Kotoko Cornerstone in front of 50,000, 60,000 spectators. So when they go out to the national team and they are going to see similar crowd, it doesn't faze them. Frembo Manso and Co were playing El Hali in Egypt. You know, even as recently as 2000, the House of Folk team that won Africa, they went to Esperance and beat Esperance in Tunisia. So when they come into the Black Stars, when Jones calls you that, oh, come and play the Black Stars, there's no tension, nothing. But these boys, they've played in front of a crowd of 1,000, crowd, empty stadium, 2,000. Then suddenly you are called into the national team, Ghana versus Nigeria. You go to Abuja and they look at the stadium. Massa, trust me, your legs will freeze.
This message is from Sadiq Abdullah Abu, who is the CEO of Three Music, who are organizers of the Three Music Awards. He says, Nat, I agree with your panelists regarding the confidence level of our local players, even when it's time to step up and play. It isn't because of the lack of psychologists in our sports industry. Because, understandably, a very good player without the needed confidence can be intimidated to play.
Yes.
However, if there are lots of psychologists in the game who can continue to psych up and motivate them enough and not to be scared and see any other player on the field as better or better than themselves, it could boost their confidence and mentally get them ready for these big games. Sadiq Abdullah Abu, thank you so much for that message there. There's another one on the subject of the athletics. Let me just quickly run through it, and this is from Kofi Boache. We'll just go quickly to our last caller in a second, but okay, let me just quickly pick this call from Shem in Pram. Shem, thank you for joining us.
Oh, no. Good afternoon.
Yeah, very well. We've run out of time, so kindly do this in about 45 seconds.
Okay, I'll do it. You see, the contribution you guys are making about the local players, I would somehow agree and somehow disagree. Just like Sadiq said, if you don't have psychologists to tell somebody that, Charlie, this is your time to shine, so you better go on the pitch and do what you've already been doing, which is moving your legs, kick the ball. That is what you're trying to do. You finally have the opportunity to do it, so do it. So I agree to some extent, but I believe psychologists will do a better job. Now, people like Dangote, I never remember Dangote playing for the Black Stars. So you see, the topic is not just about today, it's about what has been happening since when people were playing their best in the local leagues and they were not called into the Black Stars. So I can understand the politics of it, but at an extent, we need them. For the Naki brothers that say they don't want to play for the Black Stars, Charlie, even if FIFA gives them world best, we shouldn't call them. We should make the national team like it's an asset, which is an asset. We should build a chart that we don't make people play this flimsy excuse of, I don't want to play today, the next day I want to play because it's going to better your CV or so. So we should make the team that people who really want to play should be able to play. They shouldn't be something that you can sleep tomorrow, wake up and say, I want to play for France. No, tomorrow I want to play for Black Star. No, even if the law permits it, we shouldn't. That's my little bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shem. And we'll wrap up with this final message from Kofi Boache of Ahuma Clothing. He says, on athletics, the champions in the Super Zonals should be camped with the state taking interest in the promising athletes even before they get to the tertiary level. There is a year or two of transition for the state to groom them into future champions. We lost the likes of Obanana, Tampico, Adade, etc. because of poor structures. We will discuss Obanana another day. Yes, Obanana was the guy from Infantsipim who, made us very disappointed. As he won the intercore for Infantsipim against us. And this was when Infantsipim hosted the the Intercore and Super Zonals. Obanana was a fantastic guy. Like I tell Kofi, we the St. Augustine's boys, we like to speak the truth. And we speak the truth. Yeah. Anyway, so this is how we're going to wrap it up. Kojo, thank you so much. And I would like to say thank you to all of our lady listeners today, especially Anita Sean Katai, my Leonard friend.
Oh,
she says hi.
Tanti is listening, right?
Tanti is listening. And also to Asantwa Yeboah, you get well soon. When you listen to the Joy Sports Link, it cures every illness as well.
So my sweetheart B2 is listening.
Hey, sweetheart in capital letters.
No, I can't mention your name.
Okay, you know you're going to answer at home. All right, Tantis, thanks so much for listening. Thanks to everybody else for listening. And Judge Quay and the rest of the crew come up with Showbiz A to Z. And do remember that the Waffle Zombie Under 17 tournament is kicking off. And of course the The Dortmund tour is happening today. Dortmund versus Shooting Stars. The legends are playing at the Accra Stadium. During the week, we're going to be very, very heavy on the Calcio Trade Ball. And, of course, that big game between the African All-Stars, and the Special Select side as well. This is how we wrap it up. Thank you so much for doing the listening. Thanks to the whole Joy Sports team. Benaya Elom Dafiamekpo has been my sit-in producer for today. God willing, we'll be back next week, Saturday, with another Joy Sports link. My name is Nathaniel Atom.
To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Come on!